Meanwhile, I know brilliant women, smart, seasoned, successful, who are like, I don't feel ready. They're waiting to feel ready. They're worried that they're not expert enough. Say no to stages and panels that they are absolutely qualified for. Hey friends, welcome back to the Accidental CEO podcast. I'm your host, Nata Salvatore. And today we're talking about something I cannot stop seeing everywhere I go this year. The audacity gap between women and men in business. As a woman, a CEO, a multi-business owner, and a mom of 2 girls, I've been paying very close attention to how women show up in business versus how men do. Not just in theory, in rooms, at conferences, on stages, on panels, and behind the scenes on DMs and coaching calls as well. And what I keep noticing is this. Women are starting businesses at record rates. We're delivering incredible results, but we're still taking up less space, charging less, and backing ourselves less. So this episode is part pep talk, part data, part mindset reset, and definitely a call to action. I'm talking specifically to you if you're a woman running a business. Maybe you're a coach, maybe you're creative, a photographer, an agency owner, a consultant. Who knows you're good at what you do, but you also know you're holding yourself back. Maybe you hesitate to call yourself an expert. You underprice your offers. You pass on speaking or visibility opportunities because you don't feel ready yet. Meanwhile, you're watching man with half your experience grab the mic, raise capital, charge premium rates, and move forward faster. So today, we're going to walk through what the numbers say about women in business right now. Spoiler alert, it's very impressive. How our early conditioning shows up in our daily business behavior, like pricing, visibility, risk-taking, and delegation, which you guys know it's one of my passions. And very practical call to action so that you can start building more audacity into how you run your business starting this month. Let's get into it. All right, first, the good news and the infuriating news at the same time. Women are launching businesses in the US at record rates. A recent report showed that 49% of new businesses in 2024 were actually started by women, which is up from 29% in 2019. That is an insane jump in just a few years. Women-owned firms are a massive part of the economy right now. There's millions of jobs, billions in revenue. We're not a cute side project to the economy. We are the economy. Now the infuriating part. When it comes to funding, women are still getting scraps. In 2024, women-only founding teams received around 1 to 3% of venture capital funding. Depending on the data set you look at, it can be even less. And yet, every time someone actually compares performance, women knock it out of the park. BCG and others have shown that startups founded or co-founded by women generate about 78 cents in revenue for every dollar invested, while male-founded startups generate around 31 cents. In other words, women are creating more than twice the revenue per dollar invested. So let's translate that into plain language. We get less money and we do more with it. And still, the money keeps flowing to the guys. Just a pause here. This is not a hate episode on the guys. I work with men all the time. I'm just really trying to bring to the forefront of our attention the gap and to poke on the female business owners out there because I know we can do more and we can show up confidently. So that's the external piece. But I don't want this episode to just be like, oh, the system. Because here's the part we can influence today. What we do with our behavior, our choices, and our audacity as business owners can make a difference. And where the audacity gaps show up in everyday business. What is it that really got my attention this year and made me want to record this episode? So let's talk about how this plays out in real life. not just in venture capital land, but in your day to day decisions. The first thing is visibility and speaking. This year, I've been to a lot of different rooms, and something kept standing out to me. Men with very average experience had no problem walking up to the mic, pitching themselves, stepping on the stage. Some were clearly underqualified for what they were talking about, but that did not stop them. Meanwhile, I know brilliant women, smart, seasoned, successful, who are like, I don't feel ready. They're waiting to feel ready. They're worried that they're not expert enough. Saying no to stages and panels that they are absolutely qualified for. And research backs this up. Women are statistically less likely to accept speaking opportunities and more likely to stick to that one on one setting, coffee chats, DMs, small rooms, rather than literally and metaphorically be on the stage. In business owner terms, here's what that means. You're incredibly comfortable doing deep work for one client, but you're not putting yourself in front of many potential clients at once. That shrinks your top of funnel. There's fewer leads, there are fewer opportunities, there's less authority. And the stage, or the podcast, or the webinar, or the live, is a leverage point. We need to start seeing as that. When we trade the stage for the coffee shop, we're also trading scaling for safety. The second thing is pricing and self-evaluation. On freelance markets like Upwork, for example, women charging for the exact same work with the same qualifications often set their rate around 75% of what the men charge. And if you're listening and thinking, yeah, my rates are probably lower than they should be, I want you to hear this. Underpricing isn't just a money issue, it's a behavior pattern. And it showed up as you sending proposals that you know are too low, but you don't want to scare them away, quote unquote. Or saying yes to discounts, scope creep, or just one more tweak, even when you are resentful. So keeping offers packed with extra bonuses and deliverables so you feel worthy, even if it burns you out. And here's the kicker. This pattern doesn't make you safer. It actually keeps you stuck as the overworked doer instead of the well-paid CEO. Next is raising your hand for opportunities. You've probably heard this stat. Men apply for a job when they meet 60% of the qualifications, and women only apply when they meet 100%. That came from an old Hewlett Packard internal report and was popularized by the HBR and others. There's newer research that says the gap isn't quite dramatic anymore, but the pattern is still there. Women are more likely to screen themselves out of an opportunity that they are qualified for. In business owner language, that looks like not pitching yourself to that podcast because they probably want someone bigger. Not applying to speak at that conference because you've only been in business for a few years. Or not reaching out for that dream collaboration because you assume that they're out of your league. Maybe you're not going for the bigger retainer or contract because you feel you need one more certification first. All of this shrinks your world. You're not being told no. You're not even getting to the point where someone could say no. You're pre-rejecting yourself. I'm going to say that again for you to listen. You are pre-rejecting yourself. So where did this come from? Spoiler alert is not that we were broken. And this is really important. None of this is because women are inherently less confident or less brave or less entrepreneurial. These are patterns that were taught and reinforced in us from childhood. Here's a couple of things that research has found. When tasks are framed in a gendered way, for example, this is more of a boy thing, or girls aren't usually good at this, then the girls ended up underperforming. When the same tasks are framed more neutrally, then performance gaps goes away. So it's not capacity, it is context, it's our environment. Historically, girls are praised for being right more than for trying. Complimented for being good or polite or perfect, not for being bold, relentless, or resilient. Less often encouraged to play with risks, numbers, and leadership roles. That praise pattern really matters. If you grow up being praised for being right, you're naturally going to avoid situations where you might be wrong in public. You over prepare and overthink before you share anything. You wait until you're 100% perfect before you move. And if you're praised for effort, experimentation, and process, you start early. You learn in public and you take more swings. Same human potential, different reinforcement. This episode is brought to you by my one-on-one Freedom First Leadership Coaching. This is for founders who are still the glue in their company and want to become the calm, precise CEO. Together, we will redesign your role, install clean decision rights, and delegate outcomes with a clear definition of done. You'll leave with a weekly operating cadence, a 90-day plan, and the confidence to scale without being on call to everything. If you want high standards at a human pace, apply now at accidentalceo.co/coaching. That's accidentalceo.co/coaching. We also see this in how risk is handled in childhood. Think about how adults talk to kids on the playground. That little girl is climbing something. Be careful, sweetie. Don't hurt yourself. The little boy is doing the same thing. Whoa, look at you go. Go for it. No one sat down with a 5-year-old girl and said, listen, we would like you to undercharge and avoid public speaking later in life. But thousands of tiny little interactions really encode this in our brain. Safety over experimentation, politeness over visibility, perfection over iteration. And then fast forward 25 years, and now you're the founder who spends 3 weeks tweaking a sales page but never sends the email. Maybe you rewrite your Instagram caption 10 times instead of pitching a podcast. Adds more and more to your offer instead of simply making a clear ask. And again, you're not broken. You are patterned. And patterns can be changed. That's the good news. So how this shows up right now in your business. Let's name some very real founder behaviors that come right out of these patterns. First one is underpricing and over-delivering. You're doing advanced level work for beginner pricing. And you throw in some extra calls, some extra deliverables, extra support because you want them to be happy, even if it drains you. A thin top of funnel. You're great at getting clients once they know you, but very few people see you at the top because you're hiding from bigger visibility opportunities. Reluctance to delegate or invest. You don't hire help until you're on the brink of burnout because you don't feel quote unquote ready enough or big enough yet. You treat investment as their luxury, not a lever. Saying yes to the wrong work. You keep saying yes to small work, discounts, custom one-off favors, rushed projects, because it feels safer than asking to be fully resourced for the big work. And you're delaying your CEO level moves. You know you should raise your rates, launch the group program, pitch the brand deal, apply to speak. But you keep telling yourself, oh, I'll do that next quarter. And when we zoom out and look at the entire ecosystem, all of that adds up to fewer women on stages, fewer women attracting premium clients, fewer women scaling beyond it's just me doing everything all the time. That's the behavior side of the funding gap. And that's where we have a lot of power. Audacity is not a skill. It's a personality type. And here's how to reframe in what I want you to walk away with. We taught girls to be right and boys to be bold. Entrepreneurship rewards visibility and iteration. So if you want different outcomes, we have to build different habits. Audacity is not the magical personality trait. You either have it or you don't. It's a result of the rooms you're in, the behaviors you repeat, the way you talk to yourself when you try something new. You can train it. So let's talk about how. All right, here's a call to action for you: how to build Audacity into your business. I want to give you 3 practical experiments you can implement as a founder, starting now. These are not mindset affirmations on a sticky note. These are behaviors that will change how your business operates. Number 1, build a visibility system, not just be braver. Instead of vaguely telling yourself, I should show up more, I want you to really create an actual visibility system. Here's like a simple version of this. Once a month, you do one quote unquote scary public thing. Think apply to speak at a meetup or a local event, pitch yourself as a podcast guest, host a free workshop or a webinar, go live with a collaborator, guest teach in someone's program. Block it off on your calendar and tie it to your identity. I am a CEO who lets people see my expertise. Each time you do it, don't just ask, did this go perfectly? Ask, what did I learn and what will I try next? This trains your brain to value iteration over perfection, which is exactly what entrepreneurship rewards. Number 2, price to outcome and raise the floor. Let's talk about money. I want you to take the last 5 proposals or quotes that you sent and really convert them to value-based packages instead of pure hours. What outcome did you create for this client? How much is that roughly worth to them in money or time or energy? And then raise your minimum rate by 10 to 15%. Not your dream rate, just the floor you will no longer step under. Practice saying your new pricing out loud. Seriously, in the shower, on a walk, in the car. You want those words to stop feeling like you're confessing a crime. Because here's the truth: underpricing doesn't make you kinder, it makes you exhausted. And exhausted founders play smaller. They take fewer risks and they stay stuck in survival mode. Your business needs you resourced if you're going to lead it. Number 3, create an Audacity circle. You do not have to do this in isolation. You do not have to do this alone. I want you to build an Audacity circle. 3 to 5 peers, women who are also business owners, who agree to meet once a month, an hour and a half. Bring one thing each: a pitch, a price, a sales page, a visibility idea, and give each other feedback. And most importantly, celebrate attempts and not just wins. You're rewiring the praise pattern. Instead of only celebrating when something is polished, you start rewarding taking the steps, taking the stage, sending the pitch, raising the rate, saying no to the wrong client. That's how we move from I have to be perfect to I'm the kind of person who takes bold, aligned actions and learns quickly. Number 4, choose rooms that support the version of you that you are becoming. Be intentional about the rooms that you're in. Ask yourself, do I feel invited to take up space here or quietly grateful to be included? Are women being centered on the stage and at the table or just sprinkled in? Do I leave feeling bigger and braver or smaller and behind? You deserve to be in communities and masterminds and events that are actively working to close the gaps and not recreating them. All right, so let's land this. We're living in a moment where women are starting nearly half of new businesses. Women are generating more revenue per dollar invested than men. And yet we're still getting a tiny sliver of capital, the stage time, and the headlines. Some of that is structural. Some of that is about bias systems. But some of it is also about how we've been trained to behave. We were taught to be right. They were taught to be bold. Entrepreneurship rewards being seen, making offers, trying things before you feel fully ready. So my invitation to you is this: let this be the year you stop pre-rejecting yourself. the year that you raise the floor on your prices, the year you step into more stages, literally or metaphorically, and the year you decide that you are allowed to be visible, well paid, and backed. Not someday. Not once you hit some imaginary milestone. Now, I want to see more of us on stage. I want to see more of us getting funded. I want to see more of us building businesses that are bigger enough to hold our lives, not just our to-do lists. You're not asking for too much. You're simply stepping into what the data already says. We deliver. All right, that's what I got for you today. If this episode hit home, send it to a friend who needs a little nudge to be bolder with her business. And I'll see you next week at the Accidental CEO podcast. And until then, be audacious. Bye. And that's a wrap for today's episode of the Accidental CEO podcast. Thanks for hanging out with us in the world where creativity and business strategy collide. I am Nada Salvatore, thrilled to have shared this time with you. Remember, every episode is a step closer to mastering the art of being an accidental CEO. So don't miss out. Hit subscribe, drop us a sweet review, and spread the word to your creative tribe. Your next big breakthrough could be just one episode away. Join us next time for more insights, laughs, and actionable tips. Keep pushing boundaries, dreaming big, and embracing the beautiful chaos of entrepreneurship. Here's to make magic happen in your business and beyond.